My name is Sam Mooradian. I play guitar for the band Fallujah, and our new album Xenotaph comes out on June 13th through Nuclear Blast Records. It's a concept album. It's super dense with riffs and hooks and melodies and guitar solos. We couldn't be prouder of it, and cannot wait for everybody to hear it.
Fantastic, Sam. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, man. This is cool.
My absolute pleasure. So, as you say, Fallujah released your new album, Xenotaph, on June the 13th, bro. So, how are you feeling personally about it, mate? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you anxious?
I'm only excited. I very much could not be more proud of this album and the work that we all put into it. I think it's special in a lot of ways, and I think everybody who listens to it will kind of I think maybe agree. I hope agree. Fallujah fans out there, uh, everybody who's heard the singles kind of seems to be on that train already. So yeah, I don't know. Just excited. I cannot wait for everybody to hear it and start seeing what people think. So
Nice. Now, you touched on this a little bit in the intro, bro, but can we go a bit deeper into this one? Tell us about the album from a musical point of view and what you're actually going for with it.
yeah, this one we wanted to kind of pay homage to all these albums that have 8 songs on them, like these 8-track death metal records that we all love so much in the band. So, one record that comes to mind right off the bat, Epitaph, Necrophagist, Akeldama from The Faceless is another one. A bunch of
Mhm.
different Cynic records, like Trace the Air is one. Um, Man, those records just have a certain kind of vibe to them. Planetary Duality, that's another one. These
Yes.
they're like dense and they're fast and there's no time to not no time to breathe, but I don't know. They come in and they say what they need to say and then they're out of there. And I think we wanted to do our version of that, and so we definitely wanted 8 songs on this record, so that's what we did. And we also wanted it to feel dense like those other records that we loved. So there's a lot of riffs and a lot of kind of twists and changes and tempo changes, key changes. Song structures are interesting, and yeah, I don't know. It's just a very kind of dense and diverse record that um, we're very happy with. We really enjoy that kind of music and stuff that keeps you interested and really honed in. So yeah, I think from that standpoint, it's going to be an interesting one to listen to for sure.
Nice. Now, you've mentioned the word dense 3 times now, and someone like myself who's not
Yeah.
involved in the writing process of an album, what do you actually mean by dense?
Imagine like if you take a song with like a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus structure, it's not going to have the same density as a song that has as many riffs as these songs do.
Okay.
Like these songs, they just have so many different layers and different things happening without sounding too crowded, of course. But yeah, it's just very layered and intricate stuff. I mean, it's just packed full of different musical ideas,
Right,
all the
yeah,
way
yeah.
through. Like we have one song, "Step Through the Portal and Breathe." It's the most recent single that we put out. It has 3 guitar solos. I mean, that's about as dense as you can make it, I think. It's just crazy stuff. I don't know how else to put it.
That'll do me, mate. I got a better idea. Now, you've mentioned the
Oh
singles, so
yeah.
you've released Step Through the Portal and Breathe, Labyrinth of Stone, and Kaleidoscopic Waves. That's almost half the album, bro, on an 8-track. See, that's not too bad, but are they a good sonic representation of the album, or is there a couple more layers in there?
I think it is. However, I will say that this album kind of evolves as you listen to it. It starts out much brighter and yeah, I guess brighter is the word for it. It kind of starts out brighter and gets a bit darker towards the end. So the vibe for sure is going to change as you listen on. And I'll also say that I think every song on this album has its own kind of thing going on with it. It's got its own sort of feel to it. And they all work very well together, but they're all sort of individually strong in their own ways. So yeah, I think that these songs are the best representation that we could possibly give the album without giving you
Yeah.
the entire album for sure. But it's also there are a lot of different surprises left for you to check out when the album comes out. So.
Nice. Now, speaking of surprises, I read a quote from Kyle who said, "Hopefully, fans will be surprised and excited by some of the new direction." Like, what does he mean by that? What's the new direction?
I think probably the biggest change is going to be more in the vocals than anything else. You're going to hear a lot more clean vocals and a lot more hooks,
Okay.
but without sacrificing the same harsh vocal style that you'll hear on previous Fallujah albums, especially Empyrean, which was Kyle's first album with Fallujah. Uh, Kyle being our vocalist, of course. But yeah, the sort of clean vocal direction was something we all agreed on early on, was something we wanted to do, and it also is naturally Kyle's writing style is to do big kind of clean hooks and choruses and stuff. And so we just decided that's what the direction we wanted to try and go in. And I think it turned out absolutely incredible. I also thought when we released Kaleidoscopic Waves, which is arguably the brightest and cleanest song on the album, I thought there was going to be a lot more pushback. I thought people were going to be, I don't know what people were going to say. I didn't really know what to expect, but I for sure thought more people would be on the fence or at least be pointing out that there were more cleans. People seem to really love them. So the music is being embraced, which is awesome. So I'd say that definitely that's a different direction for the band, but it's one that I think fits really well. And then another thing is that this album is a concept album. So all the lyrics kind of tell a story from beginning to end. Are you a fan of concept albums, dude?
Yeah, I know my concept albums. Yeah, I had to listen through to it. It was good. I'd like to get fully immersed in it one day, but it sounded good.
Oh, dude, sick. Thanks, man. Yeah,
No,
appreciate it.
no, no worries. Now, I hope I read this right in the press release because if I didn't, it's going to be a stupid question. But Xenotaph marks the first album for yourself and drummer Kevin Alexander. Is that correct? Yeah.
That's
Was it
right.
an
That's right.
easy transition for you into the band?
It was very easy, I think. Not without its challenges. I definitely had to try and write music that would sort of fit in with Fallujah as best as it could, while also trying to be myself and be genuine through what I was writing. So that was for sure probably the biggest challenge. But as far as like working with the guys and making the album happen, super seamless. It felt totally natural. And that's really credit to them for being, Scott and Kyle are just like two of the best guys that you could possibly write music with, in my opinion. Written a lot of music with a lot of different people, and they are for sure two of the most open-minded and uh, passionate people when it comes to music
Yeah.
writing. So it was pretty seamless for that reason.
That's a pretty good point there, mate. Like you're coming into the band and you've got your own individual playing style, but you're coming into an existing band where people expect them to sound a certain way. So is that difficult for you, sort of trying to blend those two worlds together?
Yeah, at first it was more difficult than it is now, for sure. It was something that I had not had to do previously. In the past, I would pretty much just write music for myself, or whatever other band I was a part of. But the creative freedom that I had was untethered. It was
Yeah.
just do whatever you want kind of deal. Here, it's untethered in the sense that no idea is ever shut down. I mean, for the most part, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But at the end of the day, this is Fallujah we're talking about. We got
yeah.
to make a Fallujah record, and but that was a fun thing for me to try and do. It was like, okay, well, I basically took all the tendencies that I would, was so familiar with from playing all the music live, and I just tried to figure out ways to weave them together in a way that I felt was meaningful and interesting. So the biggest tactic, basically, I would take like chords and chord progressions that were a big part of the Fallujah discography, and I would just try to make them sound like how I would like them to sound, or how
Yeah.
I think these chords go together. And I'm just like kind of trying stuff, and in the end, a handful of those ideas became something, and sparked some more ideas, and then before I knew it, we were writing the album. So,
Yeah, cool.
you know.
Cool. And
Yeah.
the band has got like quite a lot of self-sufficient writers in there. So on the surface, like that'd be great, but it could also pose difficulties, couldn't it? Like with so many different ideas coming into one. Like, was there a process of bringing stuff to the table like that, or is it just open to slather?
You know, I think the process more than anything else is that we all just kind of got together and started working it out, you know. Scott is incredible when it comes to writing. I mean, he basically his process is different from mine in the sense that he'll just hit record and start improvising riffs.
Right.
And then again, to his credit, one thing that he likes is he likes to have people in the room with him to point out the stuff that they
Okay.
like
Yeah,
that he just played. And then he saves those ideas and then we flesh those ideas out.
that's
Whereas with
cool.
me, what I do, it's totally cool. And
Yeah,
it's something that I've never seen before him. Like he's the guy who does that. It's pretty
that's
interesting.
cool. Yeah.
Um, very, very good at it. So for me, what I do is I'll come up with ideas and I'll write them out, like I'll transcribe them. So I don't record them first, I transcribe them
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and I set them aside and then I'll start to piece together like demos and everything, but I'm just by myself at this point. Then what I do is I'll take all that material and I'll show everybody and then they will tell me what they like or don't
Mhm.
like and we'll start honing that in from there. So different processes, but the whole album was written in a combination of those ways, basically.
That's cool. Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's pretty much what it was like, you know.
Wait. Now you mentioned the sci-fi concept of the album. Like I know Kyle's probably in a better position to answer this question, but can you run us through what that concept is?
Yeah, the concept album for sure. So the story, without giving like too much away, it's very abstract. It's like a kind of a post-death experience for a character who is greeted by basically what's on the cover of the album, right? We kind of refer to them as the guide, right? Who guides them through sort of their past life that they had just stopped living and sort of opens their mind to what else is out there beyond human comprehension.
Okay.
I think Kyle does a really good job of expressing and visualizing those things in the lyrics. It's very interesting some of the stuff that he came up with and did, but you know again without spoiling anything, you know it takes some turns throughout, and you start to learn a little bit more about what the character is going through and what the guide's intentions are, and it gets dark. It's
Yeah,
really
it gets
dark
dark.
and kind of creepy, and the music reflects that, which is something that was also intentional, and we're really happy with that how that turned out. And then we all wanted to have a triumphant ending for the album, both lyrically but also musically. We didn't want it to end on a dark note or necessarily a bright note, but just more of like a triumphant note, like a positive
Yeah.
one in a sense. And we did that, but it's like dark triumphant.
Heart's
It's pretty
triumphant. I
interesting. I
like
think
it.
it turned out cool, I think. So so yeah, again, I don't want to give away the whole story. I think this album is there are two ways to listen to it. The first way is by listening to the whole album. Uh, if you have the record, put it on your record player. If you're in your car, put it on your car, whatever it is. And the second way is to listen to it again from start to finish, but have the lyrics out and
Yeah,
read
right.
through as you go. Get the whole story. It's pretty interesting stuff. And again, it's all Kyle's brainchild. So props to him,
Right.
man.
How do you go writing for someone that like I'm no writer myself, but if you're writing just a normal song, you know, the possibilities are endless. But if you're writing for a song that's got a character in mind and there's certain moods and stuff going through that, surely it'd be a lot more difficult, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you know what's interesting too is I think the music influenced the story quite a bit as
Okay.
well. So
Mhm.
I would have to have Kyle confirm that for sure. But the music really came first. It was the music was written. It was a lot of riffs and arranging and demoing, and then it was after we had all had the demos to a certain point, then Kyle started working on the lyrics
Okay.
and the
Yeah.
vocals. But he had the story kind of in his mind, but I think it really took shape once we had the music demoed out, and he could start putting lyrics and vocals where he felt they needed to go.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And in that sense, it was definitely like a back and forth between the music and the story. I
Mm,
kind of feel like it's all in a way, it's just like one big thing that we sort of crafted all at the same time. So yeah.
mm. Nice. Now, so essentially, each song represents a chapter or a section of the whole narrative. So, when it comes to playing them live, like, can you play the songs out of chronological order? Do they still make sense, or do you have to stick to how they are on the album?
Yeah, I think they could be played out of order, but I have a feeling we won't play them out of order.
Right, yeah.
Just a gut feeling. Something tells me that we'll probably play them in the order that they are on the album. Um, I could be totally wrong about that. We haven't talked about the set list at all.
Right, yeah.
The only thing that we've talked about is how we're going to close the set, the new
Right, yeah.
set. So we
Yep.
haven't gotten that far yet, really. I guess we'll all find out together.
I guess we
But
will
I think they could
indeed.
be. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, for me, what a cool set list is all about the energy that is brought. So if the lyrics that tell the story are a little out of order because the energy is better
Yeah.
live in a certain way, then it is what it is. But I have a feeling it'll probably wind up being in order. Something tells me it will.
No,
Something
so I'm
just
going to
tells
trust
me.
your gut on this one, mate.
Sounds good.
Now, speaking of live flus, you do plan to hit the road following the release of the album. So, what have you got booked in so far?
Well, we have a European tour that's booked for February of next year, which is pretty far away. But we also have some tours that are lining up right now that I can't really talk too much about, but we'll for sure be back on the road pretty soon here. And I think we're going to go to some new places too. I can't talk about it too
Yeah,
much, but
very cool.
we've had some good talks about doing some cool stuff in the coming couple of months and coming year, and um, we're very excited for that. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Anybody who's wanting to catch us in the States and abroad, we will be all over the place. But the EU tour is February and March of next year. We're direct support for Omnium Gatherum, and In Mourning is going to be opening that tour. And they're two bands that we're both, excuse me, they're two bands that we're fans of in Fallujah. So we're really excited to be on the road with those guys.
Fantastic, Sam. Well, thanks very much for your time, bro. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Xenotaph is out June 13th. She's a cracker of an album, mate. So good luck.
Thank you, man. Appreciate your time, and this was fun, dude.